Hey everyone, it's me again, and it is once again that time where I give you my feels on a makeup product. Today's makeup product is a super special one. It is the Lunatick Cosmetic Labs Contour Palette. Y'all, how cool is this packaging? If you are just joining my channel, if you're new here, first of all, welcome, hello. See that subscribe button? Just hit it, just hit it. It makes me really happy. Thanks. My name is Faith Grenade and I make makeup videos here on YouTube. And Faith's Feels is where I give you my feels or my review of a makeup product. And today's makeup product is the Lunatick Cosmetic Labs Contour Palette. I'm going to talk about the packaging, I'm going to talk about the quality of the products inside, and most importantly, I'm going to talk about the value. Is this worth the dough? So, let's go. First, I'm going to talk about the packaging. Like, so cool. So cool. It looks like a kind of Necronomicon or like a Book of the Dead kind of thing. There's a little monster eyeball here. The print on this is very well designed. There's lots of very intricate shading and detail work. It's beautiful to look at, honestly. It is a cardboard packaging, which I've seen a trend in makeup lately where a lot of brands, both high and low end, have been using cardboard packaging because it's cheaper. My only real issue with cardboard is it tends to not be as durable as like something like plastic or metal, and most cardboard packaging comes with a magnet. This has a magnet closure, if you can call it that. My one really big gripe about this palette is that the magnet on the closure is super weak. I can open it with less than a fingertip, which means that it would be likely that this would kind of, you know, come open in your travel bag when you're traveling. It's very thin, which I do like. That makes it great for travel, but you are going to have to find some way of kind of sealing it closed, putting a rubber band around it, or, you know, some bubble wrap or something like that. On the back of the packaging, you have all of the shades named and numbered down below here, and they have an ingredients list on the back, which if you're a freelance makeup artist like I am, or, you know, you're a person who has very sensitive skin, you can look at this and know right away, you know, when you're working with, you know, a client that has sensitive skin or yourself, you will know right away if there's something you're allergic to, and I love that. Not a whole lot of products list ingredients on the packaging itself anymore. A lot of them will list them on the box that the palette comes in, which you usually end up throwing away anyway. This is a huge plus to have an ingredients list right on the back there. Moving right along back to the inside, we've got 12 shades in here of contours and highlights, and then this rosy row in the middle, which is a beautiful blush row. We've got 12 pans, and they are all, as you can see by these little finger holes here, each pan is removable. So they are removable, they are magnetized, so you can take these out and swap them around and put them in an order that you like, if you don't necessarily like the order they're being put in, or if some of them don't work as well for you as others, but there are some that are like your holy grail contour colors, then you can take those out and put them in a smaller palette, or you can take pans that are similar size to this and put them in this palette if you love the packaging. We've got the gray row down here, we've got the rosy row down here, and we've got the brown row down here. I'm going to go shade by shade for you guys, talk about texture, pigmentation, blendability, all that good stuff. So let's get started because there's a lot of shades in this palette. I'm going to go ahead and start with the gray row right here. Now, my fair-skinned sistas, my pale girls, this is your best friend, this whole row right here. A lot of these contour palettes that have been coming out, they are for kind of light to medium skin tones, and a lot of the contour shades are not cool toned, which is a big pet peeve of mine because the shadows that naturally occur on your face are cool toned. So you're going to need something that is cool in undertone. And a lot of these brands are turning out things that are just too warm for people with super fair skin. But this gray row is chock full of gorgeous cool, cool, cool toned shades. Like, there is not a single ounce of warmth to any of these, and that's a good thing. The award for worst swatch ever goes to me, but I digress. There you are. There is the gray row. So up here you have white. White is a true, honest matte white. There is no shimmer in any of these shades in this palette, and this is a matte white. It's going to be a beautiful highlight on very, very fair skin. I can get away with using it barely. It can look a little bit ashy on me if I'm a little bit darker, but this can also be used as an eyeshadow, so it's not completely useless because it is a matte white, and matte whites have their purpose. Then we have light cool right here. Light cool is kind of a pale gray color. A lot of the videos I've seen reviewing this palette, they say they don't know what to do with this shade. What I've found that I can do with it is I'll use this shade to blend out these two darker cool contour shades, and that way you're still getting a nice smooth blend and a smooth gradient in your contour, but you're not getting rid of any of that cool undertone that you need for a natural shadow. So then we have medium cool. Medium cool is actually a pretty dark color. It's a very deep, cool contour shade. And when you build it up like I have here, I've put a couple layers down so you can see the color. It is quite dark, so you can build it to be pretty intense, but you can also use a light hand to make a very natural looking contour. I used it in the deepest part of my cheeks today. Love that shade. Very, very nice. And then we've got, or Deep Cool, I believe it's called. Deep Cool is a very dark, cool toned shade. I would say it's a little bit more brown than medium contour. Medium contour is a little bit more on the purple side. This one is a little bit more brown toned, but just barely. It's going to be a very, very nice kind of deep, deep contour shade, or a very good natural looking contour shade on medium and deeper skins. The texture of these powders is a touch dry, and they're not super, super pigmented at first swipe, but I kind of don't have a problem with that. Because when it comes to cheek products, I think it's important to kind of start lightly and build up as you go. Because if you go too intense right away, it's gonna be impossible to blend, and you're gonna look like you have tiger stripes all over your face. I don't have to sweat it. I don't have to worry about how much I'm using. I can kind of, you know, work with it and have a lot more control, and I like that a lot. And they blend beautifully. For how deep some of the contour shades are in the cool toned row, they blend flawlessly. I don't really have to do a whole lot of extra work to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the rosy row here next. So this rosy row, it's blush. It's not a contour row at all. And for a long time, when I was looking at these contour shades coming out, I ended up kind of being a little bit hypercritical of them, because some of these contour palettes also had bronzers and blushes in them, and I was like, what's the point? I have bronzer, I have blush, I do not need those. You know, give me just a plain old contour kit. But at the same time, I kind of like having these blushes in here, and having the other shades that I'm going to show you in a minute, because it's an everything in one palette. You know, this is something that is very thin. It's a little bit on the big side, but it's not super big. It's no bigger than, you know, a decent sized eyeshadow palette. You know, it's something I can put in my kit and have everything I need in one place. I don't have to go grabbing for like a ton of individual pans or individual little compacts that just take up space. So let's take a look at the rose row. This is the rosy row. The first one is light pink, and you can barely see it. I can try to build it up and get a little bit more opacity, but it is a very pale, pale pink. Gonna be gorgeous on fair, cooler undertone skin. Love it. I actually really like this to use as a blush in more subtle ways. My friends, my fellow rosacea sufferers will know my struggle. You don't want to use like an extreme amount of blush because you just worked so hard to get all that redness off your face. You don't want to add more redness back in. So this lighter pink shade is going to be perfect for that, because you can start out subtle, build it up to the intensity you want, and it's not going to just look like rosacea all over again. Then the second shade down here is, let me find the name, medium pink. Go figure. Medium pink is really more of a coral color on my skin, but then again, I also do have an olive undertone, so that is going to show here. More of a corally color. There's definitely some warmth to that. It's a very warm pink, gonna be great for kind of, you know, spring and summery looks where you're looking for something that's really bright and going to really bring life to your face. This is a gorgeous shade for that. Very pigmented, one of the more pigmented shades in this palette. Can get a little bit on the flaky side in swatches, but I haven't had that experience with it in practice. It's blended beautifully. So there you go, that is medium pink. And then we have beige pink. Beige pink is one of my favorite blushes in this palette. It's gorgeous. It's this beautiful deep mauve tone. My chocolate queens, my beautiful, beautiful people of color, you are going to love this blush. It is going to look stunning on you, and it's going to look stunning on kind of a cooler undertoned eye look like I have going on right now. I do have this blush on the backs of my cheeks today. It's a beautiful sculpting blush, pretty pigmented, but not so pigmented that it's overwhelming, which is nice. So yeah, love, love, love that color. And then the last color is just pink. That's what it's called. It's pink. This is again a very warm pink, but it's a lot deeper than the medium pink up here. It is warm. It almost has kind of an orangey red tone to it. I could see this looking gorgeous on deep skins as a blush. Medium skin tones are going to be in love with this shade. So definitely a lot of versatility here. My fair and light people can use this as well if you use a light hand. Every time I've brought this palette to a freelance gig, everyone's like, oh wow, that palette looks so cool because of the outer packaging. So it's conversation starter to say the least. The blush shades are a little bit softer than the contour shades. They're a touch more pigmented, which I guess is okay. I mean, I personally don't worry about pigmentation too much when it comes to my blush. I'm actually okay with it not being super pigmented as long as it's buildable, and these are very buildable. The Brown Row is more of what you think of when you think of a contour and highlight palette. All right, so the first shade is a pale yellow. It is a yellow highlight shade. Again, these are all matte. This one, again, you can see it's not super, super pigmented, but that's kind of okay. I use it as an under eye setting highlight and, you know, just kind of in my little triangle area here to brighten things up, and it does a beautiful job with that. It really lifts my face and kind of brightens my under eye area, and it is very buildable. You can build it on top of itself. So then the next shade is light brown. Light brown is more of what I think of when I think of a typical contour shade. It is a taupe color, more brown than gray, but it's still very cool toned. Gonna be great as a natural looking contour on, I would say, light to light medium skins. It works for me, but it may not work for somebody who's super fair. It may be a little bit too warm. I also love using this light brown shade to blend out the cooler toned contour colors from the Gray Row. It works great for that. It works to kind of bring a little bit of life back into your face, which is mighty nice. Then we've got medium brown down here. Now, medium brown is a warm brown. It's warm. It is a bronzer shade. I would compare this to kind of the Chocolate Soleil bronzer from Too Faced, which at first I was like, a bronzer in a contour palette, but as I said before, I kind of love that this is in here, like, because I've got everything all in one place and I can just bronze with that shade. It does a great job of bringing a kind of sun-kissed tan to my face when I'm looking for a little bit more structure, a little bit more shape. Love that one, actually quickly becoming one of my favorite shades in the palette. And then we've got dark brown. Dark brown is a cool toned deep brown. It's pretty similar to the other two kind of darker gray shades in the Gray Row, but this one is a little bit more brown, a little bit more neutral. So it's going to be a little bit more of a natural contour on people with like medium to medium deep skins. So there you go, there is the Brown Row, and that is all the swatches for this palette. So now let's talk about value, because this palette is not cheap, especially for an indie brand. Lunatick Cosmetic Labs is an independently owned brand, which I love because I love being able to support small business. I did buy this with my own money, and it's $74. Ouch. This vastly became the most expensive single makeup item I have ever bought. $74 is expensive, and then with shipping to my APO address, it ended up being $80 even. $80 is a lot for a contour palette, and I've seen a lot of people on social media who are like, yeah, I'm interested in getting this, but $74 is a lot of money. And it is. It's definitely an investment piece. It's not something to be taken lightly or impulse bought. However, I did a little bit of math, and I'll go ahead and use a MAC blush as an example, because a lot of people love MAC blushes. They collect them, they've got a bunch of them, whatever. MAC blushes have 6 grams of product in them. So a little bit more than these ones do. However, you pay $22 for 1 shade of blush. So you figure, 6 grams of product, $22, that comes out to maybe about $3.50 per gram of product. That's the unit price. This, on the other hand, yeah, you're paying $74, but you get 12 shades of product, and each pan has 4 grams of product. So you're getting 48 grams of product. Almost 50 grams of product. That is a ridiculously large amount of product. You could use this every day, and it would take you forever to hit pan on it. And when you do the math, $74 for 48 grams of product, that comes out to about $1.50 per gram. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. My math could be off. But $1.50 per gram versus MAC, which is $3.50 per gram, almost twice that, or a little more than twice that. So yeah, it's expensive, but you're getting shades that are going to be extremely versatile for all different skin tones and types. These are just the right amount of pigmented, they blend beautifully, and in my mind, they are completely worth the splurge because you're actually getting a really good value for your money. So if you're a makeup lover who has yet to run into a contour shade that is going to be perfect for your skin, I would definitely invest in this palette. If you are a freelance or professional makeup artist and you're looking for an everything in one kit to add, or everything in one palette to add to your kit, this is a must-have. It's completely worth the investment in my mind because when I pack for the trip I'm gonna be taking home next month, when I pack for that trip, I'm not gonna have to sit here and, bring like 1,000,001 different compacts just to get, my contour and blush shades and highlight shades and have a good variety. All I will need is this palette and a shimmery highlight, because it's the only thing that's not in here, is none of these have shimmer. So I'll bring this palette, I'll bring my favorite shimmery highlight, which is the Balm Mary Luminizer, and that's it. That's all I need. As a working performer, I need things that are travel friendly, and this definitely is one. The one setback, again, is the magnet on the packaging is extremely weak, so just reinforce this however you would when you normally travel. But that's about it for me. That is my review for the Lunatick Labs contour palette. What do you guys think? Do you have this palette? Do you love it? Have I talked you into it? Are you interested in buying it? Then go ahead and visit the description down below, because I'll have a link to Lunatick Cosmetic Labs website to buy this palette. I think it's completely worth it. If you did find this review helpful, entertaining, or informative, there's a button for that. Spank that like button in the butt, you know it deserves it. And if you want to see more from me, subscribe and become a member of the faithful today. I put up videos every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching this and joining me today, and I will see you guys in the next video.